Shoreviewken!
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at what I'm going to refer to as Rival Schools 2, for time's sake. The full title is Shiritsu Justice Gakuen Nekketsu Seishun Nikki 2. And that's quite a mouthful. A lot of people are under the impression that Project Justice is the second game in the series, but those people are mistaken. Now, anytime anyone walks up to you and says, "Hey, Project Justice is the second game in the Rival Schools series," you can say, "No, it's not, you idiot!" While the other two games in the series both got arcade releases and were distributed worldwide, this one was made specifically for the PlayStation and was only released in Japan. It's also one of my favorite Capcom fighting properties and one I really wish they'd bring back. If you've played the first Rival Schools, then you'll be getting pretty much more of the same with this one. There are two new characters to play as. Ron, a photographer and amateur reporter from Taiyo High School who fights with a camera and also by throwing newspapers, which is a deadly combination, assuming you can be killed by blindness and or paper cuts. The other new character is Nagato, captain of the swim team at Gakuen High School. He is my absolute least favorite Rival Schools character. You know it's bad when your abilities as a world-class swimmer translate to fighting less effectively than the head of the school newspaper. The gameplay in Rival Schools 2 is more or less unchanged from the first one. It's still awesome. Everything is rendered in 3D, but it basically plays like a 2D fighter with the ability to sidestep. You choose a team of 2 from a huge roster of characters, and though you can't tag in and out, you can perform some really awesome tag team attacks, and you can switch characters in between each round. Every character on the roster is really unique. You've got your basic Ken and Ryu clones, but you also have athletes turned fighters, hurling baseballs and soccer balls at your opponents, and you even get to play as Sakura from the Street Fighter series. And of course my favorite character in the game, Hideo, the badass teacher slash karate master. I always wondered how he's able to get away with beating up all of his students like this. It kind of reminds me of that movie, The Class of 1999, where killer military robots are used as school teachers. I love that movie. Anyway, you have a super move meter at the bottom of the screen that goes all the way up to 9 stocks. And you use 1 stock for super moves and 2 stocks for tag moves. And the tag moves include everything from doing a massive amount of damage to having your health and super gauge restored. You also have tardy counters, attack cancels, and launch attacks to go into some awesome air combos, kind of like in Capcom's Versus series games. This really is one of the best fighters they've ever produced.
Round 1, fight!
One mode in the Japanese Rival Schools games that was removed from the international releases is the School Sim mode, in which you can create your own character and go to school. You have a set of stats that you can modify by choosing which club you'll belong to and how you'll train there. You'll occasionally be tested on your rival school's knowledge for stat boosts as well. And you'll have the opportunity to practice moves with other characters and have some sparring matches. This mode really fleshes out the story as well, with a lot of characters to interact with that aren't part of the roster. You'll also have the opportunity to compete in sporting events for the school you selected. And speaking of that, there are a bunch of sports minigames included in Rival Schools 2. Everything from baseball and soccer to volleyball, and they even included a dance-off minigame. Unfortunately, there's no Kim Lab minigame, which I think could have been really fun. Or perhaps a lunch period simulator, or the hanging out behind the bleachers experience. Aside from all that, as if it wasn't enough, there are a bunch more modes included in Rival Schools 2. There's a tournament mode, league mode, a class mode where you can learn all the various moves for each character and receive grades on how well you perform. There's even some mini games you can unlock for your pocket station with the points you earn in the school sim mode. All things considered, this game is filled to the brim with modes to choose from, and it's all pure gaming goodness. And on top of all of that, I really love the presentation of Rival Schools 2, and the whole series really. The character designs are great. All of the characters have very distinct looks and mannerisms. All of the stages are very detailed and look awesome, and there's a ton of color in this game, almost seizure-inducing at times. The music is also amazing. It's very energetic, and I could stand to listen to it all day. There's also lots of great voice work and sound effects. It's definitely one of Capcom's better looking and sounding games on the PlayStation. So, if you couldn't tell by this review, I love Rival Schools. And while this particular version never made it outside of Japan, you can still pick up the original for the PlayStation and the sequel, Project Justice, for the Dreamcast. They might not feature the school sim mode, but that takes a backseat to the amazing fighting gameplay anyways. If you've never tried this series, I urge you to stop watching this review and scratch that. Watch the rest of this review. Watch it multiple times actually, and then go play Rival Schools.